State Hillary Clinton now confirming the killing at the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. At least one other person was reportedly wounded after gunmen stormed the consulate. There are also reports of looting, and there is even more violence tonight in Cairo, Egypt. Thousands of protesters marching on the U.S. Embassy. According to the Associated Press, both attacks were triggered by an anti-Muslim film produced here in the United States. And Governor Mitt Romney just releasing this statement. I'm outraged by the attacks on American diplomatic missions in Libya and Egypt and by the death of an American consulate worker in Benghazi. It's disgraceful that the Obama administration's first response was not to condemn attacks on our diplomatic missions, but to sympathize with those who waged the attacks. Congressman Alan West joins us.
I think it's an absolutely horrible thing because what you have to understand, here we are on 9/11. Remember the attacks that resulted in 3,000 Americans losing their lives not too far from here at the Pentagon. And now we have had another attack on sovereign American soil, which is what a consulate and an embassy is. Our flag was torn down, it was burned, the radical Islamist flag was raised, and we have an American official that lost their lives. And the first thing that come out is that we're going to apologize for something that a Christian Coptic individual posted a video on his Facebook site. So now if we're going to start, eschewing our freedom of speech rights to apologize people for these type of attacks, Greta, you're only going to get even more of this. This is rewarding bad behavior, and I think that you're going to see this dovetail into other countries.
I think that's what Governor Romney was saying, too, that he did not like the immediate response out of the U.S. government.
No, I think it's a horrific response that we're apologizing. We're accepting the blame for this, which means that you're going to fuel more of this response. Much the same as what happened with the quote-unquote Quran burning incident in Afghanistan, when really they had defiled the Quran by writing in it, and we took the position of apologizing, and they wanted us to punish our soldiers and turn them over to the Afghan authorities.
I read tonight, just recently, at Politico, that President Obama has called Prime Minister Netanyahu, had an hour-long conversation, and also released from the White House tonight is that the White House is now saying that there was never a request by the Prime Minister to meet with President Obama. He's going to be here in 2 weeks. Of course, earlier in the day, we got information from the White House that there was a scheduling problem and why they couldn't. So apparently there's a little problem there.
Well, when you tell the truth, you never have to circle back around to cover up what you said. So if there was not any communications about a meeting that I guess was canceled, why would there have to be the excuse of a scheduling conflict? And once again, when you think about what happened at the Democratic Convention last week, when they left out the language about Jerusalem being recognized as the capital, the rightful capital of the State of Israel, we know that the IAEA is saying that Iran is getting closer to having this nuclear capability. We see what is happening in Egypt with a Muslim Brotherhood-controlled government, which now opens up another front for Israel besides the Hezbollah-controlled areas of southern Lebanon, the Gaza Strip controlled by Hamas. This is a very critical time that we need to show our strength.
How did all of this happen all at once today? I mean, what happened? It seemed like a lot of things happening.
Well, I think it's been leading up to this. Over the weekend, you saw that Al-Qaeda in Iraq, they're back, and you saw an incredible amount of attacks. Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, which is North Africa, is very active and is also sifting over into Mali and also Nigeria. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula is quite strong and also having an effect with Al-Shabaab over in Somalia. So when we continue to talk about how we've decimated this group, this organization, they're still there. And when you talk about the fact that you ended the war in Iraq, there's only two ways to end the war. Either you win or you lose, just by packing up and leaving. That's not a means by which you ended anything. As a matter of fact, you're emboldening your enemies.
Congressman, thank you, sir. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And when we come back, the day that none of us forgets, remembering September 11th, a day that forever